Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anma, and for the next few episodes, I will be your guide through the wonderful universe of Kerbal. We're gonna go ahead and start a new game. Title it The Universe of Kerbal. We are gonna do the career mode here, so we're just gonna load in real quick. And already we are on the beautiful land of Kerbal, the planet of wonders, and we are going to start building a way to leave it because we don't actually like it that much. It's kind of boring. There's a lot of green, you know, and we want to get some different colors. Green and blue are getting kind of old. And so we are going to do our best to leave, because we don't really like it. So, but we're not very good at it yet. We're actually pretty awful. We are probably one of the worst space programs in existence, especially considering we are currently the only one. But, you know, we're going to learn, and we're going to be learned. So we're going to start out with our first launch, this tiny little spaceship. We got Jebediah Kerman over here. Let's hold up. Let's go ahead and get him out of here. And we are going to do an EVA report on the launch pad, because we can. So we're going to get him back in, because that's going to give us some science. Because everybody knows that the data that you collect is measured in science. And the more science you have, quantity of science, unitless, is what determines how scientific you are. And if you are rather scientific, then you are more likely to be able to leave the planet. Which is, of course, our goal, because we don't like Kerbal. Maybe we'll go to this thing in the background. This little, roundish, kind of purplish, bluish thing. It's, we don't know a whole lot about it yet, because we have not been there. But we are about to run out of fuel already in our little spacecraft here. So we're going to do a crew report and gather some science. And Jebediah Kerman is just going to go ahead and spin the capsule. Give it a bit of rotation here. Help our descent back into the Kerbal world because, you know, we got as high as we can go. We're out of fuel. We can't do anything more in this world, so we are actually going to go ahead and speed this up a bit. And we're going to go ahead and get below 3,000. Slow down a little bit. Open up the parachute. And it is now partially open, so we're slowing down a bit. And it looks like we are actually going to land right back near the launch pad. Maybe I can try and rotate it a bit so you land over there. No, I don't think that's going to do anything. I'm probably going to end up, if anything, breaking the parachute and killing our brave astronaut. So we're going to speed up a little bit, slow down. And we are home! Wow, okay, that was violent. So we're going to use this command pod again, because that's the only one we have. And on this rocket, we are going to place 2 of those. And we're going to go ahead and get an engine, too. And of course we want a parachute. And we actually want to do that also, so that these will separate when we're coming back down to Earth. That way they won't explode on us when we are hurtling towards Kerbin. Sorry, not Earth. What is Earth? Anyway, we're gonna put some exterior fuel tanks on here, and those I am going to leave a little bit higher for no particular reason other than the reason that it would not let me place them lower. So we're going to put some, try to fix this here. We're also going to put some wings on here so we have a little bit of control. And I'm not entirely sure this is going to be stable, but I also want to put a couple of solid rocket boosters on here, solid fuel boosters. Because we're going to need quite a bit of thrust in order to lift this thing off of the ground. So that should be mostly set up. We're actually going to put some wings on here too, because it's going to be quite difficult to control as we're taking off here from the ground. And of course, we absolutely superiorly need that and this goo. That way we can collect some science and transmit it back to little green scientists over here in the Kerbal world. So we're going to go ahead and roll this out onto the launch pad and get ourselves ready for launch number 2. Obviously these spaceships are not quite important enough to be named yet, so they're going to remain untitled, focus untitled spacecraft, and already we're getting some wobbling. Is this broken? I think that is very close to breaking. So I'm going to go ahead and activate those. Ah, and it didn't break, luckily. So we're going to let these go ahead and burn these out. Not sure if you can hear me over the sound of these thrusters. These should burn out rather quickly. Got about 7 more seconds maybe on them. Which is good because we are not very much in control of these rockets. Drop those ones. Put the thrust up on that. Turn that down just a tiny bit. Now, we should have a fair amount of control right here, which is important because if we can't aim this correctly, it is a lot harder to get into orbit. We want to go ahead and do a 90-degree turn facing east because that is the general direction. The planet is rotating in such a way that facing east helps us escape more easily. So we're going to use less fuel if we go this way than if we went the opposite way. We're going to go ahead and thrust all the way to the east. And burn out these tanks as well. Once these tanks are burned out, we're going to go ahead and drop them. And then we will be on our last reserves, the single tank rocket. Oh, we are not in control here. Go ahead and drop that and activate the engine, and we are going to look at the elevation of our apoapsis. So here we got about 125,000 meters, which is good. That's about 55,000 meters higher than we need to be in order to get into orbit. And of course, orbit is our destination because what better place than in orbit around Kerbal than to gather vast quantities of the science. So we are going to need to burn for 37 seconds here, once we're coming up on the maneuver node. But in the meanwhile, we are actually going to get some science and keep that data. And we are also going to go ahead and take Jebediah out of the capsule and make him do a report. And just for a little bit of show and tell, we're going to go ahead and show off our jetpack skills. So we got a good amount of control. Maybe we could go back here, check out the engine. Oh, that's a very beautiful engine. Very well made by the Kerbans. The Kerbal family, which spreads the globe of Kerbal. The Kerbal. I guess it's all Kerbal. There's a lot of Ker and bins and alls. And unfortunately we seem to have lost our maneuver node, but we don't really need that one because we don't have to be precise. We just want to burn towards the prograde vector, that's the green circle here, when we are near the apoapsis, or our highest point. And they said we wanted to burn for about 37 seconds, which we can certainly do. We'll have about 150 fuel left over after we're done. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We won't get a whole lot more science from getting into orbit, but we can go ahead and show the world that we indeed are capable of getting into orbit. I'm going to let this get a little closer over here, just to round it off a bit more, make it a little less of a oval. And we are successfully in orbit. We have 172 fuel left. Now, we could actually, we might have enough fuel to travel into orbit around the moon, or perhaps Minmus, but we do not have time for that in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and see if there's any more science we can do real quick. Looks like these are all the same science values. So we are going to burn in the retrograde vector, slowing down our velocity and causing us to fall back to the world of Kerbal. We're going to go ahead and fall into darkness over on the dark side of the planet. I don't think we are... Oh, we might... Yeah, I don't think we're going to get into the sunlight here. It looks like, like we're just going to fall down. So, we're going to go ahead and let gravity do its job. We might want to eject... We're going to go ahead and eject this fuel stage a little early. Whoops, okay. That was during physical time acceleration, so that flew off a bit faster than I intended. But we should now be coming down at a good pace. Don't want to wait too long for gravity to do its thing, so we're going to go ahead and stay sped up in physical time acceleration. But we are now nearing the surface of Kerbal. I have absolutely no idea where it starts or ends. We might be over water, we might be near some mountains. It is just a bit too dark for me to tell. I think we're over land. Yeah, I see some mountains over there. We'll go ahead and slow down and open the parachute partially so that I can grab hold of the winds. Oh yeah, okay, so now we can make out some defining shapes. That opened, which means we are now 500 meters away from the surface. And as soon as we land, we are going to go ahead and take a surface sample, get some more quantities of science, because we are the science hoarders. We want all of the science so that we can escape our little green planet. It's actually quite small. Nowhere near as large as the Earth. So we are going to take a surface sample. That is going to give us 9 science. This is dirt and grass and small rocks. You suspect this isn't going to be much of a groundbreaking discovery, but it will give us science. And we love science. Science is what we crave in life. And this is going to be our flag number 2. Launch 2. We got into orbit, and nobody came back dead. That is always a wonderful achievement. We're going to go ahead and get back in the capsule so that we can collect both Jebediah Kerman and the capsule at the same time. If we can get over here, grab that, board, and recover vessel. And I'm going to go ahead and show the expenditure of science in the next video, because this video is getting a little bit long. We got 42. And that is going to be the end of the Kerbal universe for today. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I have been your guide through the wonderful universe and world and existence of the Ks. Going to shorten their name to Ks. We will see each other, or hear each other, or maybe you'll see me, you never know, next time on Kerbal Space Program.